Thank you, Governor Perry. And I appreciate that you addressed, I know, at least two matters of concern based on statements that you had made previously, and I'm sure that there will be further questions directed to that. But I do think it's also very important to recognize the work that has gone forward within the state of Texas as you have worked to not only embrace a growing population, provide for jobs and economic opportunity, but at the same time working to address the issue of emissions and how you can bring on additional energy sources, both the traditional and our renewables. So I think it's a good story and a story worth repeating. I want to focus my first round of questions on some Alaska-specific issues and appreciate your attention to them. Senator Cantwell mentioned that I am oft heard stating that America is an Arctic nation, and we are an Arctic nation because of where Alaska sits, and we are proud that we are an Arctic nation. We have been we've been struggling a little bit because there are some who I think view the Arctic as something in isolation, something that is frozen in time, almost a snow globe that should sit on the shelf and we just shouldn't touch it. But as Senator King knows, as the co-chairman of the Arctic Caucus with me, it is a very, very dynamic part of the world and a very dynamic part of our country. But understanding what is happening in the Arctic is imperative. Knowing the science, understanding the science is an imperative, and we see much of this come out of the Department of Energy. We also recognize that there are incredible resources in the Arctic, certainly that could enhance this country's energy production if we are able to access them. So the commitment that I am seeking from you today is one where you would agree to work with me as well as the people of Alaska and really the country as an Arctic nation to bring industry, to bring science, to bring our local communities together to ensure that the U.S. can continue to be a leader in the Arctic as it relates to our energy production, as it relates to our science, as it relates to understanding all that is in front of us as an Arctic nation.
Senator, you have my commitment. Senator, you have my commitment, as do the members of the committee, to focus on the development of various regions. Obviously, you and I had a very lengthy conversation about the challenges that Alaska and the Native Alaskans face from the standpoint of both the economic impact, the environmental impact. It is a unique area of our country. The times I have visited there and the times that I will visit in the future will help develop even better an understanding of the not only the challenges, but the opportunities. And I look at this position, if I'm so fortunate as to be confirmed as Secretary of Energy, to not only use the agency and the vast, the brilliance of our national labs. One of the things since 2012 in particular, when I started spending time understanding our national labs. Texas A&M University, which is in my home state, was brought into a competition to operate Sandia Labs. At that particular point in time, I steeped myself in really finding out about these laboratories and the men and women that are in those laboratories, the extraordinary individuals, the technology side and the science side of the Department of Energy. There are a fascinatingly large number of opportunities that we have on the economic side to make people's quality of life in your home state, for instance, better by bringing technologies that we may have an idea about today and some that we haven't even dreamed up yet to the table, to commercialization, to affect your state and this nation as a whole. So my record as governor of Texas has been one to not only think outside of the box, do some things that people might not necessarily have associated with a Republican governor, but to do it in a way that both sides of the aisle and people who really don't much give a tinker's damn about either political party, but want to see results. And that's what I will commit to you, to find those results that will have a positive impact on your citizens of Alaska and of this country.
And I appreciate that commitment, and I would commend to you that we can be that living laboratory. As wonderful as our national labs are, we have some extraordinary individuals with a PhD in Arctic living, individuals that have lived there, their families have been there for millennia, and relying on the indigenous peoples as well as we work with our brilliant scientists in the labs and around the country is very important. But I look forward to spending more time with you speaking about these issues that are so pertinent to the development and the sustainability of an Arctic environment.